KFUG LP Crescent City 101.1 FM. And I can finally say once again online, kfugradio.org. If you haven't checked out our brand new website, please do so. We spent a lot of money on that. So, and we want, and I don't want any negative feedback. Just tell me how great it is. 11 o'clock straight up, KFUG Community Radio. Paul Kritz with you, Community Service, the show. I'm joined live in the studio by Jessica Sanar Andrews of Redwood Voice Community News, and we are continuing our cavalcade of Harbor Commissioner candidates. What?
That's a better word.
What?
What? What'd you use?
I just said conversation.
No, cavalcade. It's a cavalcade.
How do you spell that?
With a
C-A-L.
vacade.
Yeah.
Anyway, this hour, that means litter sunder. Litter sunder. No, I'm so sorry. Let me begin.
Do over.
Linda Sutter, friend of KFUG. I would call you a friend of KFUG, Linda. I would do that.
Thank you.
So, only because you're just always so fun to have on the air, and you bring insight and passion to whatever you do. So, why are you bringing all that to the Harbor Commission?
Oh my gosh, where do I begin? Okay, so the reason I'm bringing it to the Harbor Commission is from watching the meetings, I see a real need to make change. The Harbor Commissioners, I don't believe they understand. Now, I'm not talking about all of them, okay? Because I love Brian Stone. I just love him. He is intelligent and articulate, and he knows exactly what's going on. But the other ones are a little concerning because of the things that they've done that's caused the harbor to lose so much money. And I can no longer stand by without trying to get on as a commissioner, because I believe I can bring real change into our...
You've already brought real change, haven't you? So you've been getting a lot of dap from other candidates here as being the person behind uncovering just how Patrick was using the Harbor's credit card. Is that true?
That is absolutely true, but what's even worse than that is the former Harbor Commissioner, Charlie Helms.
Harbor Master.
I'm sorry.
Yes. That's okay.
I am so sorry.
Got Harbor on the brain. No,
Yeah. I submitted a 563-page complaint to the grand jury in regards to the misuse of public funds, and I had found $75,000 used that was not approved and just flew under the radar through the credit card system. And so that's whenever I first started conducting an investigation, because I kept hearing them complain about how they didn't have money for this, that, and the other. And I'm like, something's wrong here. Follow the money.
How long ago was that?
That was about 3 years ago that I started that. Oh. And
you don't have to say sorry every time either, too.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, we interrupted. I was having Jessica
right.
adjust her microphone. So yes. So yeah, I'm sorry. Go on, please.
So then I submitted that to the grand jury. But before I had submitted it to the grand jury, I had notified our sheriff, our chief of police, and our county auditor, and then of course the district attorney. It was brought to her attention, and for some reason, now this was before the grand jury, they decided that this was internal weakness. And I'm
internal. Who decided?
The county auditor and the DA.
Just that this is just what, quote unquote,
it was $75,000 worth of internal weakness.
What does that mean, internal weakness?
It's a term used that so there's internal weekness and there's material weakness, and these are all auditor terms.
Wow.
And it basically says, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, but I don't know. It
didn't rise to the level of, I guess, on the DA's part, criminal.
Right. There was nobody to blame.
Well, it should have, and let me tell you why.
Okay.
Okay, so this year, recently, I discovered Government Code 53232.2, which basically says, and I brought some paper here.
Which government?
California Government
California,
Code.
okay.
Yeah. It says, because the whole issue is that, well, they don't have a credit card policy, right? And I'm like, okay. But guess what? If you don't have a credit card policy, then this government code says you are to revert to the IRS codes
Right.
for meals, travel, and incidentals. And that's the law.
Yeah.
And nobody caught that.
Wow. Okay.
And so, anyway, make a long story short, it ended up in the grand jury's deal, and they picked out one transaction. Tim Petrick had purchased airline tickets for his wife to some event or something on the backs of the people. So, so that started the ball rolling because that validated at least my claim. They ignored the other $75,000 charges. I don't know why, but hey, okay, I'll take one. You validated the claim.
And so this was in the grand jury report.
This is in the
Okay,
grand jury
gotcha.
report. Well, then,
This was the inadvertent travel expense that they referred
Inadvertent
to.
travel
That's what
expense,
They, yeah,
wow.
that's what it.
I was very disappointed in the results of the grand jury because I'm just, if you can't stop misuse of public funds on a local level, then there's just no hope for the entire nation.
You can't do anything on a local level, then there's no hope. Exactly. Yeah.
So, anyway, then I did, for some reason, something hit me wrong. I can't remember why. I decided I want to look at the credit card statements from January of this year to August. And I was met with all kinds of resistance. Mr. Petrick is telling me, oh, the attorney told me that all those charges are lawful and you're insane. And
His attorney told him that you're insane?
No.
Okay. That was
no, he told me I was
He
insane.
said you were insane.
I'm
Right,
insane,
gotcha.
and those secret requests are BS.
Wow.
And but that's not what he said,
But
Bull.
there's you're totally lawful in requesting these records. This is something that should
Absolutely.
be. Yeah,
any
exactly.
Public member can't.
Yeah.
So after him screaming at me for wanting to review records during business hours, I said, "Are you denying me the request?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay," and I went down and filed a writ.
Wow. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden things changed immediately. But I was still having problems getting the receipts to show the supporting documentation of those charges. In the meantime, now this started in early September.
Okay.
Within 3 weeks, Mr. Petrick resigned.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So, and the other thing that Mr. Petrick was telling me, well, we only have to work 4 hours a month on SEPA requests. That's what his attorney told him. And I said,
I don't think so.
you're absolutely right. I'm like, well, your attorney is wrong. And if he's telling you these things, then we need to get rid of him because he's not appropriately representing the Harbor District.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of things this guy's doing that are the attorney that are questionable, in my view.
So let's go. Let's talk higher level, like vision for the harbor, because you're coming in. I mean, you're not just getting into the weed. You're the weeds, and you've got like the receipts and everything and all of this. Is it? And I don't mean to make it sound like you're just running on this, like you've got one plank.
Oh, no.
Are you just going to be concerned should you be elected in balancing the books? Are there other things that you'd like to see happen at the harbor, sort of separate from the money shenanigans?
The harbor is in financial dire straits, and that has absolutely got to be top priority if we are going to move forward and progress in this harbor.
Right on. What sort of dire straits do you have to address? What's happening with the harbor?
Well, first off, there's so much trim that needs to be cut. I I don't even know where to begin. So like under the former harbor master, I mean, he would be on the phone with the attorneys who charge I don't know how much per hour, $300 to $600 an hour. I mean, in August, they spent $68,000 on attorney fees.
Wow.
Come on
But,
now.
I mean, when you take into account that they are going through, they went through a settlement with Dutra, the general contractor for the Interboat Basin. They just reached a settlement with Fashion Blacksmith not that long ago, and now they're dealing with the credit card statement issues. After you shed light on that, I mean, wouldn't you expect them to be on the phone with their attorneys quite a bit?
Ooh, I have a gotcha question. Aren't some of those costs then caused by you?
Yeah,
by
they are.
looking
But let
into
me
things?
tell you why. Because those CEPRA laws, everybody should understand what those
You're
CEPRA
absolutely
laws.
right.
You don't call an attorney up and say, "Well, Linda Sutter's asking for receipts for the credit card statements or whatever he was doing." You know what? Yeah. That's supporting documentation. Those are public records. Why would you be on the phone hours a day talking about how to get
Good point.
by that?
Good
Yeah.
point.
You
yeah.
can't.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
You know, come on now. And let me tell you something else. Mr. Petrick used that attorney for whenever a public member spoke out against him during a meeting. So what's Petrick do? He goes down and files a restraining order against Pat Leonard. And I'm like, Pat calls me up. I'm like, okay, well, here's what you're going to do. Okay. And so I went to the courtroom with them.
Wow.
And basically, there was no reason for Mr. It's called a slap suit. There's no reason for Mr. Petrick to have tried to place a restraining order on a public member for speaking out. You don't have to like it.
But it's your
you
job.
have to hear
yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly. It's your job to hear it. Exactly. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, these are the kinds of things, these are the kind of things. I'm telling you what, right now, that new harbor master Mr. Mike Rademacher, I'm going to tell you something. He is frugal, and he does care about where the money is spent and how it is spent. And they've busted down their credit cards to, I believe there's just one for the office manager.
Yeah.
So if someone has to take a trip, they go. She has to make the travel arrangements, et cetera, et cetera.
But it took this for them to do that.
Exactly.
Wow.
Like if you hadn't uncovered, how much Mr. Petrick was spending on this, they wouldn't have done that.
No. And he fought it tooth and nail, let me tell you. He was not happy.
Do you feel like the harbor can come back from this?
I do feel that they can come back because
And what do you think it would take?
I think that what it's going to take, we're going to have some, we've got some hard times coming ahead of us, right? But I think that with Mr. Rademacher's knowledge and he's very concerned about how money is spent and how it is how it looks. So I think number one, that's
not laughing at
make
that
a
was
difference.
Jessica was not laughing.
I was laughing
what,
at the cat.
There we have a cat running loose here in the studio. She's not laughing at Linda's comments. I wanted to clear that up for the listener.
Oh, that's
out there.
okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
Please continue.
I forgot.
Well, everybody has spoken kindly about the work that Mike has done. Everybody that we've had in there is like talking
he's
about.
He's really spending. I mean, he's spending more time than Mr. Petrick would ever spend on doing stuff. But he's been doing this now for 10 years.
Yeah.
So he's got it down.
Yeah. So if you're elected to the Harbor Commission, you'll be working with pretty much, it's almost a whole new board. I mean, there will be 3 new members potentially, unless if Harry Adams gets reelected, 2 new members on the board. What do you think that'll be like? How would you work with your colleagues? Like, what would you want to focus on?
Well, I think the most important thing is that we have open, transparent discussions in the public's eye. And I want to know everybody's point of view. I want to know what, the most important thing that you can do as a commissioner is your due diligence in reading whatever document comes before you. If you don't understand it, then you need to ask questions, et cetera, et cetera. But it should be done in an open forum, right? And so everybody has something to bring to the table, but I think that, what I've seen is that commissioners, some of the commissioners, they just are flying by the seat of their pants. They really don't understand or grab what's going on. And I think a lot of mistakes are made because they don't do their due diligence.
There's something about the commission that seems like very reactive. Like it's just like, boom, here's another problem. Let's react to this. And
that's
nobody
right.
seems to get their feet under them. It's almost like it's crisis after crisis.
Yeah, you got to be proactive. You got to get on it before. There's a lot of things that's happened in the harbor these past years that could have been prevented. Like one of the things was when somebody didn't do the permits or dropped the ball in doing the paperwork.
The dredge permits.
Yeah, the dredge permits. We used to have an offshore place to dump the dredging. That got lost along the way. That's outrageous. It's going to cost $5 million, if not more, to get that back. And I really want to look into that and the history of it, and to accomplish that, because we've got to have that. We can't be depending on going north or south to dump our dredging materials. That's just ridiculous.
So you ran for Harbor Commission back in 2022, I believe. What prompted, was it pretty much the same issues that made you run then?
I just see a lot of place for improvement. I have a passion for doing this kind of work. And I'll stay up all hours of the night.
Sure.
Because it's not boring. It's the passion that's there. It's just natural. And write things down, or but the problem is when you can only speak 3 minutes and it goes in one ear and out the other, and no one takes you seriously, then nothing. You can do that all you want. It would be a lot better if I was on the board and I was able to accomplish something. Or yeah.
So let's say you're elected and you're able to accomplish things, and and over your tenure, you straighten out as much as possible the finances and open it up so that everybody can see what's going on in the harbor. What would you like down even farther stream from that? What would you like the harbor to look like?
I'm glad you asked that question.
Well, thank you very much.
Because I've
Good.
been thinking about it. Let me see if I can.
I've got a document about that.
So I'm not an artist or anything like that by far. But I looked up some. I wanted to know what the housing looked like for our natives.
Oh, right,
Way back
yeah.
when.
Yeah.
And one of the common themes I saw, it was very rustic looking buildings that they had built.
No, the
But-
plank houses?
Yeah, the plank houses.
Yeah.
Thank you. I couldn't remember that terminology. But every one of them had that was their opening. It was a round,
like a circle.
circular opening. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. But what if we designed our harbor? I don't want to see a Hilton in our harbor. It's a working harbor. How about let's bring some ideas from the past to the future?
Like
Plank houses.
plank houses. How so?
Plank houses so that you want to have a rustic feel. You want to bring it something unique instead of a box
Sure.
mortar building, right?
Right.
And so we tap in on our natives or their culture. We tap in on their culture. And we make that harbor into that kind of a rustic feel.
Okay.
So, like, you would incorporate that design into some of the buildings, or
That's what I would want as
Okay.
far as cottages and things like that being built over there.
okay,
Yeah, I would like to see that because it would actually be inner city coming to the country or the rural harbor district. We've got the redwoods, the ocean, we've got the pristine beaches, and then we've got this rustic cottages. And yeah, I know. I see you squinting.
I'm
like
trying
that.
to
It's like-
understand what's the. I mean, are they vacation rentals? What happens with the cottages?
Yeah, they're going to be. That's where people are going to
Gotcha.
come. It's going to
Sure.
be affordable for families of all, income groups, and it's aesthetically pleasing because it's more natural than, I mean,
Oh, what would you do? Would you replace the RV park with that?
I would put those into the RV park.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could have an RV park, but
And?
then you would want to have something like that that represents our community, because that harbor district is the heartbeat of our whole community. And so you don't want to have it brick and mortar.
That's
I mean, it doesn't
interesting.
have to be plank houses either.
Sure,
but,
no, but I see what
but
you're
I mean,
saying.
a concept of something natural and beautiful inside there, using, boulders, seagrass,
Yeah.
so kind of reverting it back to sort of its natural state, but in a way that would make it attractive for visitors.
That's right. And unique, because not every harbor district up and down the coast, what do you see? You go to Monterey, you see all kinds of buildings you can go into and restaurants that you can go into, but they all look the same. There's there's nothing unique about it. It's just the same. I don't want to have the same for our harbor. I want to see something that's unique and different, and people will like, oh yeah, let's go there, because it'll give you a sense of serenity.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want to bring that kind of sense of serenity to go there, and not only enjoy the redwoods and the harbor district and our surroundings, but actually feel.
Where would the commercial fishing fleet fit into that?
Actually, this is. Let me jump in right here. Yes, that's. I want to follow up that question. I just want to tell everybody it is 22 minutes past 11. You're tuned to KFUG Community Radio, and Jessica St. Andrews and myself, Paul Kritz, we're speaking with Linda Sutter, a harbor commissioner candidate, and the election coming up in just 3 weeks or so. There you go. Thank you.
So how would the commercial fishing fleet fit into that vision?
Why wouldn't they? I mean, the fleet is not going to change. You can't change the fleet.
Well, no, but you just talked about a sense of serenity, and I don't know if you've ever been on Citizens Dock right
In the
after
middle of
the
it, yeah.
opening day of crab season. There, it's not serene. You got. I'm
Well,
sorry.
of
No,
course,
it seems-
yeah, but that's separate from what's over in the RV park.
That's true.
It's I mean, it's a little bit it's not far away, but it's way separate.
I get what you're asking. I think it's a larger question about how you, Linda, understand the tension, even if there is tension in your estimation, between our harbor being a working industry-based harbor
It is working.
and a tourist destination.
Well, it could be a combination of both.
That's what
Tourist-
I'd like to find
yeah,
out. Like what your vision is for that. How can
I
you
mean,
dovetail those things?
Well, it would be night and day. Over here by the Anchor Way, you would have the little,
So is it a matter of just zoning in different parts of the harbor being different parts of that, that experience?
I mean, that's a good question. I'm just trying to think outside
Oh, yeah,
the box.
sure,
you
sure,
know.
sure.
Bar
No, we're
kind
not
of
trying
did
to, like-
that. I don't know if you remember the strategic development plan that they've been discussing the past few weeks. He created a map of the harbor that was zoned in different areas. He had areas for like a boardwalk. He had areas for a big high-end hotel, and like just different areas, and then an area zoned for the fishing fleet, kind of around the rebuilt Citizens Dock. I don't know if you remember that. But
Well, I've been gone for 3 weeks because
Sure.
there was a death in the family and I had to drive. But so I didn't get to see that.
Okay.
And of course, they don't record their stuff. So
right.
That may be that may be a discussion for Redwood Voice at some point too, because we in the past have helped. We sort of light the fire under the school district to stream their meetings because we started streaming. We could maybe do that with the Harbor
Yeah,
Commission.
Mike does record them, and he sends me the audio recording if I ask for it.
Okay.
But
let me tell you what I don't want to see.
okay.
Yes.
Gentrification. Okay. So I don't want our harbor to be it's like, it desensitizes people to coming to the harbor whenever it's not something special. And whenever you start placing in a Hilton or whatever the heck it is that they want to do and
A Hyatt.
The Hyatt, okay, it's hard. Well, it starts with an H, darn it.
That's it.
Right. And so what's the point in that? Because let's look at our city and our county. Tell me what part of our city and county represent a Hyatt hotel.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. So, like I said, I'm just thinking outside the box. And I'm just one voice. So, I'm sure there's people that have other ideas,
Sure.
This here, to me, it's just, if you can get a part of that in there to make it something special instead of something that's Hyatt.
It's just like so. Day one, you're elected. Boom. What do you do?
Oh,
You got a document.
Document for that.
Document for that too. Right on.
oh boy.
Day one plans.
So, within the first 60 days, let's take, we're going to have to develop bylaws that are point on. Because
We've heard this before from others too, that the bylaws are sadly outdated.
they are just a convoluted mess.
Okay.
Because one minute they're giving the board members the power of what to do, and the next minute they take that power away and give it to the
wow.
harbor master. And I'm like, are you
It's just
kidding?
something that had been added on to over years. Is it just like messy because of
I
that?
only have one set.
Okay, I guess you'd have to have experienced its creation to know that. Yeah, right. So trim that up,
The
right?
second thing is, of course, the credit card policy, because that credit card policy, they gave me one piece of paper which I had submitted to the grand jury on their credit card
Right.
policy, and it basically said, well, if Tim Petrick or Thomas Zakharoff decide that there's, charges that shouldn't be on there, then they're to report to Mr. Zakharoff or Mr. Petrick. And I'm like, huh?
That's after the fact.
It's the fox watching the hen.
Right, exactly.
And
Wow.
Zakharoff was just as bad of a offender as Mr. Petrick,
Man.
because he jumped on that bandwagon because he could. He saw how easy it was.
Wow.
He's the former comptroller or the finance
Gotcha.
finance
Yeah.
director,
Okay.
CFO for the Harbor District.
Who never had any experience with government entities.
My goodness.
Oh.
While Linda coughs.
The water went down.
Oh yeah, I rode the wrong pipe. Oh no. It is 29 minutes past 11 o'clock. Hey, just a quick reminder, coming up at noon, we've got Redwood Voice Community News put together by Redwood Voice Youth Media and featuring mostly the work of Jessica St. R. Andrews as well. That is at noon, again at 5. Today, what is today? Today's a Wednesday. We've got Jacques Talk at 1. And he'll be talking with the local art scene. I think he'll have somebody from the museum in the harbor, I believe, coming in to join him. I believe that's at 1 o'clock. I'll have to look jump on Facebook and check out, see what Jacques will be doing. And yeah, that's it. And remember, no squirrels, not the, I always get it wrong. What was
Squirrels
the
Gone
one?
Wild?
No, the other one. That's gone. We don't have to remember its name anymore because it doesn't exist.
Does it have a name?
It did.
It was squirrel interrupted.
There it is. Squirrel interrupted.
okay,
Squirrel
that
interrupted. It's
makes
great.
sense.
Right? It's really good. It should have stuck around just because of the pun. The name is great. So and Squirrels Gone Wild as well. This is the Squirrels Unlimited confab that was Amanda's content here. But so yeah, the rest of Wednesday will ensue, which will include at 4 o'clock a Rising with Sonali. That's right before the second airing of today's newscast. So yes, where were we? The water went down the wrong pipe. So first thing,
so-
and second thing was the credit card. So would you come up with your own like freestanding credit card policy, or just revert to the IRS's?
I've already submitted to them a model that they could work from, because you got to define things. I mean, it's not a simple one piece of paper.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know who's working on that right now, but hopefully they're just going to wait until the new board members get elected, and then we can all work together on that. So
Right.
the other thing is we got to deal with the firework ordinance that needs to be fixed, because I wasn't here for the Board of Supervisors meeting, but I did write up a 3-minute speech for Donna Westfall to read, and I felt that, they're trying to make this too hard, the firework ordinance, because they're expecting each jurisdiction to have their own like judge and all this other stuff, and keep law accounts of who's done what, and that's ridiculous.
How would you simplify it?
It needs to go through the Superior Court. It doesn't need to go to each jurisdiction, city, county, or.
And just
so
have
like you. Oh,
no.
sorry.
Go ahead. Go right ahead.
So like it should be a criminal matter. Like the whole like administrative citations and hearings and fines and everything.
A misdemeanor. I don't like to use that word criminal, but I mean it's no different than a traffic violation,
Right.
Yeah, but I do believe that if you get charged with something, you got to have your due process, right?
Sure.
But the way that they've got it going on right now, there's no due process, and it's like you guys are going to get sued. That's just my opinion. So I think it should go through the Superior Court, and I don't know who the administrative judge is for hearing traffic violations and other things such as that. I believe Judge Owens retired, but it should go through there so that it can be appropriately tracked.
Okay. Do you agree with so the Harbor District the Harbor Commission got their first look at the fireworks ordinance, didn't discuss it at all a couple weeks ago. Do you feel like kind of the discussion had been to ban all fireworks in the inner boat basin area and then allow the safe and sane fireworks on the beach? What's your opinion on that?
Here's what I think. What happens and what I think are two different things. Right?
Sure.
Okay. We do not have the police force to monitor this.
Yeah.
If you're going to ban the fireworks everywhere in the harbor and on the beach, because I'm sorry, I told the sheriff 2 days before the 4th of July, I said, people are starting to conjugate. You might want to start having your officers tell them there's no overnight. I mean, there's signs out there, no overnight camping and such. But after the first day, he kind of gave up because, they just keep coming back. Well, yeah, when you have a barn, the horse poops every day. You got to go take it out of the barn. So the same applies. But you know what? If you don't have the police force, then you need to ban it just completely until we do have a way to control it.
That's wild.
Because
Yeah.
right now there's just no way to control it. And man, I'll tell you, it's a big mess right now. Because I understand, that's our biggest pull for tourists in the year. And it still can be, but you know what? Even places that sell fireworks, I mean, the big ones,
Right.
people always gather, like in the state of Missouri, because that's where I'm from, right? Every town has its own big firework thing, just like we do at the city. That should be it. Do you know in Grants Pass they don't have any kind of firework celebration?
I did not know that, huh?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Medford does, but Grants
Yeah.
Pass doesn't, because they said they celebrate Memorial Weekend, so they don't need to do it on the 4th of July. Okay.
Well, the concern is too, like, we're not supposed to have. I mean, you got people that sell fireworks, just the safe and sane variety.
Yeah.
But at least in Jacksonville, where I live, you're not supposed to have fireworks because of the fire risk.
Sure. I'd tell you what, I have neighbors across the street from me that get the illegal kind, and they blew it up, and it hit my other neighbor on the same side of the street as me, shed. And he went out there and said, you need to knock it off. And they did it again.
Yeah.
But you know what? You can't call the police because we don't have police.
There's not enough.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah.
We don't have
They have to
police.
kind of be judicial about what they respond to.
I get it.
Yeah, they have to.
That was unintentional.
Yeah,
No, you're
that's
absolutely
bad.
right. You're absolutely right. And I have yet to meet the person with the illegal fireworks who went, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll stop." I don't know if that
no.
person exists. Either.
And here's what really is upsetting me right now is because I guess they put that case on those two people that had the unlawful ones that hit that little child and other people who, so it's my understanding, this is what was told to me, that the DA is waiting to see how this ordinance plays out before she decides to hear the case. And I'm like, that's not okay with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That was, as far as I'm concerned, that was attempted murder, but it wasn't intentional. It was still, it was intentional because they had the illegal fireworks.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So we should work toward wrapping up. We are getting close to the end of our time together here. Is there something else you'd like to ask?
Is there anything else that we didn't ask?
That was what we were going to ask you then. If you want to fill in the blanks for us here.
Well, let me tell you, all I can say is that we got some issues with the harbor. As a harbor commissioner, I am going to diligently work my tail end off to make that a better place, financially and otherwise. We're going to get what we need. We're going to get what we want. And I don't take no for an answer, as you all know. So, yeah, that's all I can say is I will work my butt off to get that harbor in tip-top shape.
Right on, Linda. Thank you very much for coming in and sharing your vision for Harbor Commissioner with us today. I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
How many campaigns has this made?
God,
you had
who
now?
knows? I lost count. You just don't give a... Hey, George Washington ran 6 times before he got elected.
Oh, my God. What?
Yeah. So, hey, but I'm not gonna be 80 years old and keep asking the public to vote for me. I'll tell you that.
Well, I don't know
all
what
I gotta say is they're missing out because I can make change.
That's and it's not an election in Del Norte if Linda Sutter is not involved either. So that's my feelings on it. So Linda, again, thank you very, very much. This we've recorded this. It will be posted online with the pictures that Amanda took, and we'll get this up hopefully in the next. My plan is tomorrow to get all of the ones that we have this week posted online, so you can share it or do whatever you like with it if it serves you. If you want to.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
I
we
will.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
Jessica,
you.
and thank you, Jessica.
You're welcome.
We have a meeting later today. Jessica and I have to go talk to the folks up at KCIW. I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's fun. Radio meetings. It's incredible. Let's find. Oh, here we go.